Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, The Reader Teacher. My name's Scott. It's the start of September, so this video is episode 9 of series 5 of Coming Soon, and it previews the upcoming books for the month of September 2025. As always, I'll be going through them in release date order, and where they have the same release date, then they'll be alphabetically by title. If you just want to hear about a specific book, then make sure to use the timestamps in the description below. I hope this video helps you to discover more children's books to add to your TBRs, and there's always plenty more throughout the year, so make sure to leave me a like, hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I release a new video. Also, all the links to the books that I mention in this video will be in the description box below. So let's take a look at the books. First up, two children wander too far from home and find themselves trapped in a forest that's as strange as it is dangerous in Hansel and Gretel, out on the 2nd of September. Twisting paths, dark shadows and mysterious secrets surround them at every turn. As they journey deeper, the woods seem to come alive, testing their courage, their cleverness and their bond with each other. This is the timeless grim fairy tale brought to life in a daring new way by two master storytellers. Thanks Harriet for the stunning finished hardback copy. Alex, Axel and the gang are back on the 4th of September, and this time the whole world is in trouble. Time itself has been frozen and every person on Earth is in danger. To save everyone, the team has just 7 days, and a little unexpected help. Joining their quest are Alex's clever cat and a gnome with a serious taste for battle. Together they'll face monsters, angels and warlocks on not one but 2 daring adventures. But the biggest challenge of all? Learning to conquer their own fears before time finally runs out. Thanks Puffin for the finished copy. Explore the entire universe of knowledge in this fully updated Britannica all-new children's encyclopedia out on the 4th of September. Journey from the beginning of time to today and even into the future, exploring space, animals, history, science, technology and so much more. With over 1,000 stunning pictures, maps and illustrations, plus fresh insights on everything from ancient Egypt to artificial intelligence, this encyclopedia seems to be packed with it all. Big thanks What on Earth Books for the beautiful finished hardback copy. In Dead Yard, out on the 4th of September, Jermaine thought he was in for a night of food and family stories at his great-great-uncle's dead yard. But one bite of the wrong patty changes everything. He accidentally eats food meant for the spirit of his Uncle Carl before midnight, and now Carl's ghost is stuck with him all day, every day. As if that isn't enough, strange things are happening in town. Kids are falling ill, creepy legends are coming to life, and something terrifying seems to be lurking nearby. Jermaine and his ghostly uncle must team up to protect the people they love before it's too late. Thanks Little Tiger for the finished copy. Born into slavery in Maryland in 1822, no one could have imagined the incredible journey that lay ahead for young Harriet Tubman. Guided by the stars, moving as silently as the creatures of the forest and listening closely to the voice of God, Harriet drew strength from nature itself. That strength helped her break free from slavery, lead hundreds of others to freedom, and live a life filled with courage, faith and joy. Told through powerful poems and stunning illustrations, this book out on the 4th of September shares the story of a woman whose spirit was as unstoppable as the world around her. Thanks What on Earth Books for the gorgeous finished copy. Harry the Otter can't sit still for a second. He's always darting, diving and exploring along the riverbank. One day he meets Ray, a heron who's as calm and still as Harry is busy. Whilst Harry instantly sees the spark of a new friendship, his friends Elsie and Clive aren't so sure. Can Harry show them that sometimes the best friends are the ones you least expect? Thanks Oxford Children's for the finished copy that's out on the 4th of September. Meet Hero, a fearless young heiress who's not about to let anyone or anything stand in her way in this book that's out on the 4th of September. When the charming highwayman Jack tries to rob her coach, he quickly learns she's more than a match for him. With only her loyal pet wolf, Flo, by her side, Hero sets off on a daring mission to escape the dark fate her wicked family has planned, and she drags Jack right into her world of secrets and danger. Thanks Firefly Press for the finished copy. A young girl sets out from her mama's house in a village in southern China to gather ingredients for a special wonton soup. Along the way, she meets neighbours working in the fields, on the lake and in their gardens, and each time she greets them and thanks them, they give her something special for her mama's cooking pot. And by the time she reaches home, she has gathered far more than she expected. Enough to fill her mama's kitchen and then some, turning their bounty into a heartwarming meal full of flavours, friendship and the joy of village life. Thanks Lantana Publishing for the finished copy that's out on the 4th of September. See what happens when a story refuses to stay in line in this picture book that's out on the 4th of September. Pencil has written the best story ever, but his characters won't follow along. They run, hide and cause all sorts of surprises, popping up where they shouldn't and playing tricks on Pencil. He races through the pages, trying to get everyone back on track, whilst the chaos grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Thanks Postwave Children's Books for the finished copy. I'm super excited to see another story on the way from Elle McNichol on the 4th of September with Role Model. 13-year-old Ariel Sharp just wants to be herself, but when her mother is elected to the most important political position in the country, it feels like the whole world is watching. Friends start to feel distant, and she is expected to speak for every autistic teenager. With so much pressure and eyes on her every move, Ariel has to find her own voice and stay true to herself, even when it feels completely impossible. Thanks Knights of for the finished copy. The second book in the Chronicles of Weatherwise series, out on the 11th of September, follows Elio as he helps his father care for the magical creatures of Circus Astra. The circus travels across Weatherwise, performing under the watchful eye of their ringleader Stella. But when mysterious visitors arrive, he discovers he has something the Queen of Weatherwise desperately wants. Leaving the circus behind, he travels to the very edges of the map and uncovers secrets that will change everything, for himself and for all of Weatherwise. Thanks HarperCollins Children's Books for the finished copy. Ghosts in the Walls, out on the 11th of September, brings together 11 tales inspired by real events in Britain's oldest royal palaces. From the Tower of London to Hampton Court, each story tells of mysterious sights, eerie sounds and unexplained happenings linked to real people and real history. Featuring spooky stories from award-winning and rising authors, along with atmospheric illustrations by Pam Smy, this collection takes readers on a journey through centuries of palace life with chills around every corner. Thanks Bloomsbury for the finished copy. Nora Night Sky isn't like the other stars in her family. Whilst they light up the sky and grant wishes, she'd rather hide in a cosy black hole. But when a girl named Olivia makes a wish for a pet, Nora can't resist sneaking down to earth. With her sparkly hair companion by her side, she sets off on a mischievous adventure full of clever tricks and magical stardust. Nora has to figure out how to help Olivia and get back home before her stardust runs out and she's stuck on Earth forever. Thanks Scholastic for the finished copy that's out on the 11th of September. Following on from the first book in this graphic novel series, No Country, 3 siblings are forced to leave home and search for their missing father in No Refuge, out on the 11th of September. In it, they encounter hidden dangers at every turn, from fields of landmines to suspicious soldiers and even child kidnappers. Together, they must stay strong and rely on each other to survive, because their journey is full of risks and challenges which test their courage and hope as they fight to reach safety and be reunited. Thanks David Ficklin Books for the finished copy. Ben's world is turned upside down when his parents mysteriously disappear, leaving him with nothing but questions in this book that's out on the 11th of September. Then a cryptic letter arrives, leading him to the Royal Institute of Magic, a secret place full of spells and magical creatures. As Ben finds out more about an ancient family secret, he also discovers a dark force the Institute has been fighting for centuries. To bring his life back together, he must face the magic, the mystery, and the danger head on. Thanks, Vinci Books, for the finished copy. The big bad wolf is dead, and what's worse, it looks like he was murdered. Alaric, a top wolf in the Tooth and Claw games, is killed during a championship match of What's the Time, Mr. Wolf, and rival Ruby of the Reds is suddenly framed for the crime. Determined to clear her name, Ruby goes on the run, chased by a relentless detective and a deadly wolf assassin. With help from her new wolf cub friend and her own skills, she must find out who the real murderer is. Can she catch the culprit before they strike again? I can't wait to find out. So thanks, Esborn, for the finished copy that's out on the 11th of September. Things have been quiet for Rachel Klein. Well, as quiet as it ever gets for a keeper of the key. But that calm doesn't last long. A movie star returns to Krasnia under strange circumstances, and Rachel quickly realises that trouble is brewing. With her brother Robert, she heads into the dangerous hinterland where shadows are hiding secrets and the tyrant Charles Marlstone waits. Every step brings new risks, and Rachel will have to be brave to keep Krasnia safe in this third and final book in the trilogy that's out on the 11th of September. Big thanks, Esborn, for the finished copy. Dogs are loyal, silly, kind, and full of love, and this collection of over 30 poems out on the 11th of September celebrates them in all their glory. From playful antics to quiet heartwarming moments, each poem captures the way dogs steal our hearts whilst filling our lives with joy. So curl up with a furry friend and enjoy a charming mix of voices that show just how much we love dogs and how much they love us. Big thanks, Nosy Crow, for the finished copy. In the second book in this series, out on the 11th of September, Finnegan Quick's nightmares are coming true again. After a terrifying vision shows his best friend Squid in danger, he must act quickly. Determined to save his friend and find his missing parents, he plunges him and his friends into the world of the paranormal. Their only lead is a chilling Irish legend about a banshee, a creature whose scream can drive anyone to madness. Facing dark forces, Finn must find a way to change his fate. Thanks, Bloomsbury, for the finished copy. I've been such a fan of the World of Podkin one-year series, and so this is going to be bittersweet, but the final book, out on the 11th of September, looks like it's going to be an epic finale. In this one, Podkin discovers a magical suit of armour that only fits a rabbit with one ear. With this new power, he unites all the armies of the 5 realms, including rabbits, wolves, forest wardens, and even the bone dancers, to face the Gorm in one last battle. Thanks, Faber, for the finished copy. Imagine being able to bring Shakespeare's greatest characters to life. Well, that's exactly what happens to Will Davenant in The Last Bard, out on the 11th of September, when he inherits his grandfather's copy of the complete works of Shakespeare. As the last living relative of the bard, Will can summon heroes from the pages, turning his ordinary life into an extraordinary one. And with his new friends by his side, anything suddenly feels possible. Huge thanks, Chicken House, for the finished hardback copy. Revisit the secret islands of the archipelago in The Poison King, the second book in the Impossible Creatures series by Catherine Rundle, out on the 11th of September. When Christopher Forrester wakes to find a tiny dragon nibbling on his face, he's pulled back into a world of magical creatures. Finding himself on a daring rescue mission, Christopher rides a sphinx, sneaks into a dragon's lair, and teams up with a clever girl who carries a flock of birds to fight to protect the archipelago. Thanks, Bloomsbury, for the stunning hardback finished copy. When a skeleton is discovered in old Nina's garden, the young detectives of Chestnut Close, Matthew, Melody and Jake, set out to find out who it is, how it got there, and who is responsible. Then, old Nina's long-lost son appears, bringing his own child. but the trio start to wonder if they are really who they claim to be. As they dig deeper, shocking secrets and a plan to hide some priceless jewels on the close comes to light. Thanks Scholastic for the finished copy that's out on the 11th of September. Fran is sent to stay with her aunt and uncle in this book out on the 11th of September, and she's not happy, especially because of her cousin Imogen. But when Imogen suddenly disappears, Fran realises something is very wrong. With only Imogen's best friend Bex to help her, Fran goes off to solve the mystery. Their search takes them to a secret garden at Stillness Hall, filled with 12 strange statues and an old mysterious story that might hold the key to Imogen's disappearance. Thanks Nosy Crow for the finished copy. Every animal has superpowers in this book that's out on the 11th of September, but one zebra, one penguin and one lemur seem to have gotten the short end of the stick with theirs. At the superpower supermarket, whilst everyone else is grabbing amazing abilities, these three end up with the most unusual powers ever. Now stuck working at a cafe whilst the other animals save the world, the terrible trio starts to wonder, will they ever get their chance to be real superheroes, even for just one day? Thanks Scholastic for the finished copy. This bold, bright and beautiful collection out on the 11th of September brings together over 100 poems by black poets for the whole family to treasure. From classics like Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou to exciting new voices like Amanda Gorman and Caleb Femi. Each poem is paired with illustrations that bring the words to life. Celebrating so many emotions, it's a moving tribute to the rich history and bright future of black writing. Thanks Nosy Crow for the absolutely gorgeous finished copy. Also out on the 11th of September is Book 2 in the Time Keys series, The Legend of Viking Thunder. In this one, Sim's uncle Emmett is missing and on the run from the ruthless Council of Keys. Determined to find him, Sim and his cousin Jeopardy step through a hidden door in time, travelling to Viking Norway and embarking on a mission across land and sea to stop the legendary Yellowhorn from falling into the wrong hands. Thanks Macmillan for the finished copy. Wander into the world of the dead in Where the Dead Live out on the 18th of September as you travel through sunken cemeteries, twisting labyrinths of bone and stone and legendary afterlives from cultures around the world. From Mexico's colourful Day of the Dead to the mysterious pirate cemetery of Saint-Pierre and the shadowy depths of Hades, this guide is full of tales and traditions that reconnect the living with the lost. Thanks Templar Books for the finished copy. Have you ever had a question that seemed completely weird or impossible to answer? A poem for every question out on the 25th of September has got you covered as it tackles these questions with poems that are hilarious, clever and sometimes just downright silly. From who invented football to how many stars in the universe exploded today, each poem gives a witty answer followed by a fun non-fiction explainer packed with fascinating facts. Big thanks Parshaw for the finished copy. The Queen of Historical Fiction, Emma Carroll, returns on the 25th of September with a book unlike anything she has ever written before. In the city of Thamestown, vampires have returned to the streets for the first time in 20 years, and vampire slayers are in dangerously short supply. That's when three cousins, Mina, Buffy and Bella, make a mind-blowing discovery. They are descendants of Dracula. Together they set out to create the world's first vampire healing company. But can they really have the power to cure rather than cull the undead? Especially when their first case hits perilously close to home. Thanks Faber for the finished copy. Lastly, Letters from the Upside, the latest book by Katia Balin, is out on the 25th of September. In it, Con has been struggling with anger and loss ever since his dad left. But everything changes when his neighbour, Mr. Williams, asks him to help care for his homing pigeons. As Con takes charge, he begins to believe these incredible birds might bring more than messages home. Maybe even his dad. Thanks Bloomsbury for the finished hardback copy. So these are the books I'm most excited about reading this month. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel below. As always, keep reading, and I'll see you in the next video.